Welcome to Squatch-D TV, where the truth is first before all else. Join your hosts, veteran investigator, TV personality, and author Steve Kulls, and from the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Project and the Kentucky Fried Fixes channel, Chris Bennett. Sit back and prepare to take yourself on a journey with the longest-running Bigfoot podcast, Squatch-D TV. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
Well, guess what? Chris needed the night off. He's not feeling well, so we want to first wish Chris all that we hope he's feeling better real soon. So, yes, it's been a wild and woolly week, and I want to welcome any of the new subscribers to the channel. We got a ton this week. No particular reason. But, yeah, it's... Geez, it's been nonstop for me since, I think, Sunday night. So, it is not let up one bit. But there are some things we need to clarify tonight without giving anything away, because we can't, and I'll explain that in a bit, too. But, I see we got a full chat tonight, and I appreciate y'all coming in tonight. We got Walter Kroll, Jen, Sandra Piper, the D. Korkek family. They're going to be popping back in. Well, welcome. Karen Fisher, hello. Roy Longley. Sally, what's going on? Robert Denduven, Reverend Quantum Bigfoot, hello. Charles O'Malley, how's it going, brother? And that's our list. And Mike Nation. Let me not forget Mike Nation. So, yep. Trying to hold down the fort here by myself tonight. And I see Jonathan's out there, too. Hello, Jonathan. And, yeah, and for all of us that are working on this project, we have been working nonstop, and we've been racking our brains almost all day, every day since Sunday. But there we are. That's where we have it. So let's get down to brass tacks here. I want to clarify that everybody thinks this is part of an existing study, or no, it's not. This is something I heard about, and I started gathering something and made some connections. So we started doing analysis on these connections, and that's about as far as I'm going to get. But the DNA is a small part of it, but it's a secondary part of it. So you may see the first part come out way before the second part, which would be the DNA. We don't know yet. But today I issued a statement, and, I want to say that right now there are no labs anywhere of any type that have our evidence as of yet. We still haven't even gotten to that point where we're ready to give out the evidence to any lab of any sort for any reason. Do we have a potential DNA sample? Well, yes, we do. But the issue is not with contamination, but rather degradation. So we shall see. And again, we're still in the process of collecting our target specimens and our target evidence, which is not originally DNA. The DNA just happened to be happenstance. And there is a direct link to our target evidence and this alleged DNA evidence, or this potential DNA evidence. And like I said, testing is going on at our levels, and we will decide eventually the exact directions in which way we're going to go with it. And again, we're still in the process of benchmark testing a lot of these things, where we're trying repeat experiments, and eventually we're going to be on to third-party verifications. Once we have a level of satisfaction with our testing and further sample collections, because that's a big part of it, then and only then we will reach out to other labs for a side-by-side comparison analysis and then on to the next step. So much to do, so little time. And I apologize for the crypticness of the event. However, I don't wish to violate any future embargo if a paper is put out for publication. It's huge. That being said, the main reason why we put this out, and it's not a leak. I like how some people, oh, this is a leak. It's not a leak. This is our flipping study, so this is not a leak. A leak is if I was talking about somebody else's study. This is our study. The main reason for the announcement, such as Wednesday night, was for the purpose of getting eyes and ears that something big is in the works. And also to know that I will be reaching out to people, first in my circles, for specific data and evidence to add to this project if they wish to be involved. And eventually, we're going to open that floor up to everybody else. But we have to do it in kind of a cryptic way because, again, we don't want to lose or we don't want to violate any future embargo. And in case people wondering what an embargo is, that is where a paper passes peer review and it gets accepted by a journal for publication. And then until that journal decides to publish the paper, there's an embargo period where we can't say nothing about it until there it is. And then we can talk all about it, up, down, left, right, in, out, outside in. So that is the way science works. It's a little frustrating. It's not quick, but it is what it is. And I am not going to be like another study that just blurted out their findings before publication. So we're not going to do that. We're going to take our peer reviews seriously, and we're going to take that information from those peer reviews and rework it if we need to. So that is the process. And it's a long one, and it's not a fun one. Not at all. Not at all. Very tedious. But yet every morning I've been finding myself working on it for 2 and 3 hours and correlating some testing that's being done by some other members. And there are ups and downs. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Oh, okay, we're good. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Okay, we're good. Oh, we're good. We got to get rid of that one. So it is yes, actually, Walter, it will be a Snapple purification process.
Joan, get me a Snapple.
Where we can actually just go to a tree and it will grow the Snapple bottles filled right off the trees. No, it's nothing like that. But that is that for that. This is going to be kind of a short show tonight because I don't have any flying second chair with me tonight. But if anybody has got any questions that, if I can answer them, I will answer them. But I have to keep the integrity of this going on. And I wanted to let people know and give them a little hope that there may be something in there. There's something in the works. And that's a good thing because inspiration, a little bit of inspiration will keep people in the fight. We'll keep them going out collecting evidence. We'll keep their boots on the ground. We'll keep them with their chin up. And this isn't coming from some crackpot, that it's coming from me. And this great flipping team who I have yet to announce. We got to talk Monday about things like that, but they won't be announced, I guess, until perhaps publication. But I won't be talking very much about this other than like very minor updates. Hey, we're into this stage of the game here, or we're into that stage of the game. And then eventually, all right, if we get to that point. So, again, Nick asked, does this involve possible Sasquatch remains? Like I said, we have one tiny DNA element to this. I'm not going to say if it's remains. I'm not going to say what it is. But it's likely that that'll be the last piece test. And I'll be straight up. To have that DNA tested is a long shot that it's going to come up with anything. It's been sitting for a number of years. But luckily, it's been closed up and uncontaminated for a number of years. Been sealed up, I should say. The whole worry is degradation. Because was it stored properly? Not for a while. So, is what it is. And that's only a small part of it. The main part of this study is not the DNA. Oh, here we go. Now we're going to Mick's trying to play. What is that? I forget that game. I Spy. We're not going to play I Spy or, we're not going to play, I forget the name, Pictionary. But no, I think I've said enough on it. Like I said, the way we shall move forward is you'll get updates on the main body of evidence because the DNA really is secondary at this point. And there's a reason. There's a good reason why, because the first part of our game may inspire people for the second part of the study, which will a separate study, I should say. So we really have two, but right now we're working on part one. Doug. And just so you know, Doug, that our evidence samples have come from coast to coast, and we're still working on some more. So that is what I can say about it tonight. But other than that, that's all I got for tonight, really. Like I said, it's going to be a very quick show. Usually I had a little bit of a program tonight, but without Chris to fly second chair, it's going to be really hard to do. There's a really good inside joke going on right now in the chat. So, I don't know. Do we want to open the phone lines? We can always try and open the phone line, and because I'm flying solo tonight. So let me just turn the phone line on. There we are. Phone line is now. Oh, hang on. There we go. Okay. I don't know if it's going to work. Well, we'll see. Trying to tell me there's a network error, but that's for the contacts, not for the, which is fine. But the phone line is open if anybody wants to call in and chime in. But that's it. And it's kind of funny. We have a lot of new, and I did catch a couple of glancing stuff tonight, which I found was kind of funny. Somebody said, "Oh, your intro is way too long. Can you make it a little bit shorter?" Well, thanks for being here for all of about 20 minutes, and now you're telling me how to run the show, and we've already cut that intro down to quite a bit, to the bare bones necessary. So, but thank you, but we got it. And not that I appreciate the person coming in and coming over to the channel, but it's like, I've only been doing this for how many years now? And have we had some long intros? Hell yeah. And then, because that was the thing to do back in the day. So we've cut it down considerably to just a little bit over a minute. As far as all the other folks that do not know me, I am a retired professional investigator. I was a professional investigator since 1988. I'm also a former paramedic, former firefighter. So I have a lot of experience. I'm a trained forensic interviewer and an interrogator. And again, the investigation point. So background, when I saw all this coming together, I was like, what do we got? But I've been in Sasquatch research and Bigfoot research since 1998. Squatchdetective.com launched January 1st, 2006. And that's where we've been. Squatch-D TV, or we actually started as Squatch Detective Radio, September 24, 2006. So next year, we are approaching our 20-year mark. We're 19 years and closing to 20 now. So that's exciting stuff. We're going to have to do something really big for our 20th anniversary. But that is your update for the night. Listen, I am beat. I have worked mega overtime this week. So I think we're going to cut it just to a half hour tonight. And again, if anybody wants to call in and say hello, they can call in and say hello. Say what's on their mind, other than politics or religion, because that's an area we do not cover. Because religion and politics basically are all one and the same. You have very steep beliefs in something, and not much is going to change. Kind of like some of the skeptics. And mind you, I look at this mystery from a very skeptical point of view at times. Have to. And a lot of times I look at witness interviews or I read witness accounts, and I can see where they go wrong. Where psychologically a sighting goes wrong, especially when I read them, because hoaxers don't understand the mind when it comes to when things start to unravel. They don't understand how the mind works, and they will say something contrary to what every single person would do. And one of my favorite examples of that always is taking a little child and saying, "Oh, look, there's the Sasquatch. Look at that." And you see this little blob squatch over here moving around. "Look at the Sasquatch. Oh, my goodness." Yeah, you wouldn't be saying that if you saw a Sasquatch, sorry. And you certainly wouldn't be pushing your kid to take a look at it. That's okay, Reverend Quantum. So that's it. And there's Richard. Hello, Richard. Good to see you. It's been a long haul, and I have done my best throughout my years not to be cynical about things. There's so many reasons to be cynical. How many big offerings there have been up, and that's why when I put this offering up, it may not be the end all be all, but it's going to be something to pay attention to. It's going to be something that hopefully will be talked about for years if it doesn't solve or doesn't lead to the solving of the mystery. Because again, DNA, and I'll put this graphic up. I was planning on talking about this tonight, so I might as well talk about it now. Let's just say DNA is put out there, and they do discover an undiscovered DNA animals. Animal DNA is found. So what it won't do, if we go right to number 5, DNA alone fails to confirm new species, a specimen is needed. So that's a given. That's not even a question. So yes, DNA is not going to solve the mystery, but it takes that ball, and I'm hoping our first part of the study takes us from the 50-yard line to the 40-yard line or the 35-yard line, and the DNA stuff will take us to the goal line. Thank you so much, Mick. Appreciate it so much, brother. So I'm hoping it'll take us, but what can it really show us? It'll show possible lineage. It'll show phylogenetic relationships, build DNA and align DNA. So we'll get to see where this thing comes from. My goodness gracious, it's related to the Paranthropus, or it's related to Homo sapiens, or it's related to the other Ardipithecines. We don't know. We just don't know yet. But DNA, a genome sequence of DNA would tell us that. And we also do the genoming will show distinct non-human origin. Here's another thing, too. It'll estimate biological traits, whether or not it uses olfactory usage or pheromone usage. It'll show its mitochondrial lineage. It's protein coding genes. Protein coding. Do they have a tapetum lucidum? This will tell us. Environmental adaptations. Well, there's tapetum lucidum right there. So there's a lot it can tell us. Does it have male pattern baldness? That's definitely in my DNA. But again, I assert it will not confirm a species, but it will move that ball to first and goal. First and goal. And that's the important thing. People talk about, well, we need to move the ball down the field, and nothing's moved the ball down the field, and this won't move the ball down the field, and that won't move the ball down the field, and I say to that bullshit. What moves the ball down the field is boots on the ground. And good Lord, I've done plenty of that in my day. Maybe not in the last year because I was working 6 flipping days a week. And the year before because I had a screwed up neck. But it's amazing how stuff that I have from the past becomes relevant today because technology changes. And we can extrapolate more from that. And things become available to us that wasn't available to us even 5 years ago. That's why it's so important. Move the ball down the field. This is going to move the ball down the field if everything goes properly. It's going to make somebody turn their head and go, huh? That's what we want. We need, the only way you get the ball down the field is interest. Interest in the topic. It's why people wondered why I had an announcement last week, because I want people interested in what's going on today, because what's going on today, although it's a long haul, it's going to be done right. You will not see your findings spit out by me before publication or before peer review or even after peer review. But what we need as a community, as a field, is boots on the ground. Cameras going, recorders going, bait stations up, trail cameras up. We need to have people doing that, and we need to not become cynical. We need to understand science a little bit. I think they can see trail cameras. They're infrared in the trail cameras. No, the infrared in the trail cameras only goes off when they take a picture. So it has nothing to do with them seeing in a spectrum that no other primate can see in. I had somebody the other day say, well, there's no primates with tapetum lucidums, I know, where the eye shine. Well, actually, there is. There are a dozen species of New World monkeys that have tapetum lucidums. So tapetum lucidum does exist in the primate family. Did it just so happen to work its way up into one of the great apes, which a Sasquatch will be, just like a Homo sapien is a great ape, just like the gorilla, the gorilla barangai, the pan troglodyte, the pan paniscus, the bonobos, the orangs, all of them. They're all great apes. We're great apes. So when people say, "Oh, Bigfoot's not a primate," they're wrong because they're a human. Well, you're wrong. How much wrong is with that statement there? Sorry. I got a accidental short leash on my cable tonight. Yeah, but only in bad pictures, and that's due to a photographic anomaly, not so much a natural occurrence. We have eye shine in pictures called red eye, and that's due to the flash and refraction. It's not caused by a tapetum lucidum, which is you won't find a human where you shine a light and see their eyes in the darkness. You won't see that. We do not have a tapetum lucidum. Right, exactly. You got it. Right. And that's natural in any animal. Because think about it, you're making a flash on the lenses of those eyes, so there may be at times some kickback. And that's what we call red eye. And if you shoot them from the posterior side, then you get the brown eye. But the important thing to remember is it's got to come from somewhere along the line. And if people say, well, there ain't no primate, what are they, a reptile? Are they, I just don't get it. You have something that is described primate-like. Articulate hands and feet, large brain, small snout, forward-facing eyes. That's all primate. Yeah. I've read some really, I have a book that I ordered that came from somebody of some reputable note, and all the pictures in the book were uncredited, except the one that had the copyright on it. And it kind of annoyed me because I actually found a Squatchdetective.com photo in the book. There was a lot of pictures and there was a couple of stories and pictures in there that are known hoaxes. Like, you got a name, so you're just going to write about a book about Bigfoot. Okay, I get it. Well, it could be, Mike. We don't know until we run that, we get that genome. Then we'll know. We'll know if it's related to the Paranthropus or Homo naledi or, Ardipithecines or, we just don't know right now. Or, of course, my bet is on the Paranthropus line right now. And then, we've had so much questionable evidence over the years, so we need something to give us hope. And that's why I made a little announcement. Let's pick us up. Let's get us moving. Let's get the juices flowing in our mind again and stop, And at the very least, if nothing happens, we still have our science that we've already completed on it. So eventually it'll come out one way or the other. Right now, it's, I will say that, well, I'm not going to say nothing. Gianni, I'm not sure. Can you explain further, Steve, on why? Why what? I'm sorry. My mind is going. I know, Joe would. Joe would. Yeah, I wish my good buddy Joe Snyder, who passed away, would be around for this. It's yeah, and unfortunately, there's going to be periods of time where you don't hear nothing, because you may get a paper approved, and that's still a bit off, and then they may take, as I was told, it could take up to 8 months for them to publish it. That's a long time to be sitting on that, but it is what it is, and I'm doing a real good job at keeping everybody in check. And everybody is so excited about some of the results we're getting. And when I say results, I mean, these are testable quantities. So we'll see what happens. Oh, the Paranthropus? Hang on. I'm going to write it in the chat. That's right. We do have a phone line open, 518-855-1450. If anybody wants to call in and chime in, here we are. But yep. Hey, we made it to 9:33, so that's good. Only got 20. I got to get to the 27-minute mark, and we're good. Yeah. It's mind-blowing, and I love it when there are boots on the ground. I love it when there are boots on the ground. Love the experiences, love the thrill of it. But to me, the lineage excites me too. Where can this sumbitch come from? Exciting. Their behavior, exciting. Of course, I'm a behavior guy. When I became a trained forensic interviewer, it was all psychology on why people do things. Why they commit homicide, why they steal, commit robberies, why do they do other nasty things, and why they, why they steal. And it fascinated me. So I've sat across the table, the desk, the whatever, or even next to you, kind of trying to get in close to them to talk to them. All kinds of criminals. All kinds of criminals. So seeing liars and seeing people trying to be deceptive makes my blinkers go off, like in my head, really big. So I love, calling out hoaxes. I love calling out stories that are not real. And the reason why I do that, it builds credibility. We want to sit there and accept everything at face value, which I know some researchers that will accept everything at face value. And I had one researcher tell me, oh, yeah, this lady saw an orb and it pushed her and knocked her down. And he's looking at me like it's a real story. Well, just because he said that doesn't make it so. And that's the one thing we also got to remember. Because somebody says something doesn't make it so. Including myself. If I say it, that doesn't make it so. But I'm always the one in the long run. This is the first time I've done this. And the first time in a long time, I'm going to be able to show receipts. I am going to be able to show, at the end of this, there will be the receipts. There will be the evidence. There will be the receipts. And the very worst case scenario, it gets tossed back out to the Bigfoot community. Take a look what we did. That's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario, we get published. So those are the ends. We lost Dr. Meldrum And I wish this could have been a year ago, me sitting there talking to everybody. I wish this could have been a couple of years ago, a little more, so I could have my buddy Joe with us too. That's the reason why I had to talk. It's just, we've had so much loss. Dr. Fahrenbach, Scott Violet, Dr. Meldrum, Wally Hersham, just in the last few months. I don't mean to take anybody's place, but pardon my French, God damn it, we're going to do our best damn job to at least carry the ball, just like our mentors did. Just like our mentors did. I'm sorry to get preachy tonight because that's the only thing I got to do tonight is be preachy. We have skeptics, and I get that. Well, we've seen this all before. Well, not from me. Not from me. We do things completely different. We may not always, because I'm an Aquarius, we may not always, go to the exact beat of the drum that everybody else wants it to be. But I will follow the rules to keep it in play. Story from long ago. I've been trained in 2 psychological models of interrogation and interview. And I remember, and this is a life lesson, I remember knowing this guy stole these accoutrements. And I'm using the one model, which is highly psychological. And then I said, screw it. I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to the other model. I hit him right between the eyes. Not physically. When's the last time you were arrested? So then I turn around and then I switch back to the psychological model. Well, now I understand why you're not telling me this. Because you're afraid. Well, let me rest assured, I'm not. The whole truth came right out. The one thing I've always been, and people that have been around me, is I'm very unassuming. I'm very, very, at times, I'm loud and I can be rambunctious, but when I get to talking to people, I'm actually quite calm about things. Unless I'm lurking on an hour and a half of sleep on a small town monsters documentary. Then I'm off the wall. And that's kind of the point I am right now. I'm really overtired. So overtired that I overslept for my speaking engagement this morning, so I had to postpone it. I had a little small appearance at a Rotary Club this morning. When working straight, I mean, literally, I get up at 6 a.m., I work on the project till it's time to get ready to go to work. I go to work, I come back, I'm back on the project, or I'm doing the podcast. And yesterday was my double, so I got up at 6 yesterday morning, worked on the project till about, my usual time, left for work, got home at about 1:30 in the morning, 1:45 a.m. Yeah. And up again at 6 this morning. I do it all over. That's the dedication I have to this. Just like many years ago when I was a young man, I was in those woods weeks at a time in a tent, eating out of a can. Well, there's an occasional, foray into town that took an hour or so. No, that's okay, Mike. I appreciate it. Actually, I'm going to kill the call-in line right now. Anyway, we will be back Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern with some back to our regular programming for a little bit. And if there's anything to be said, we'll say that, and announcements will be forthcoming as to what stage of the process we're in as we go on. But this is a long haul, folks. This is not, we're ready to do this in a couple of weeks. But like I say, DNA costs money. And I need eyes on this because there's going to be a time. If we can get the first part of this to the 25-yard line or the 20-yard line or whatever from the 50, then we're going to need that crowdsource funding to bring it to the goal line. And then all we have left to do is somehow get a specimen or a part of a specimen or whatever to prove once and for all. We're going to be that close. That's my goal. That's my fight. That's my life's calling, for crying out loud. I'm not obsessed. In fact, there are plenty of times where I felt this week I just need to take a day off, but I couldn't. Phone's ringing. Inquiries are being made. Things I have to do. All good. It's all good. But that's the fight we live in, and that's what I've been doing. It's incredible. And I want to thank my wife, of all people, that supports my games. She knows I get holed up in here doing my things. Because she knows how important it is to me. And I do that because I know how important it is to you. Very important. And most of all, I'm doing it for the witnesses so they get some vindication. I'm not talking about the researcher witnesses. We'll all get that vindication in several ways. But the witnesses, the John Q. public that's afraid to say anything because they feel like they'll be called crazy or a knucklehead or nuts. Hello, Bigfoot Fades. Welcome to Squatch-D TV. Oh, it's okay, Johnny. We don't even know which stage or when that's going to be. It could be a couple of months from now. It could be 6 months from now. I do not know. There are no timetables right now. There's a lot of stuff we got to do yet. A lot of stuff. I wish I could say exactly, but it's a process. And it's also like now you're doing job interviews. That's what I'm doing, basically. I'm going to be having to do is job interviews. Does this feel like the right place to send this particular piece to or that particular piece to? A lot of stuff going on. Thank you, Roker. I agree 100%. Roker said 3 cheers for witnesses and their burdens. Yeah, I mean, let's not even go. I'll go back to psychology again real quick. I mean, how many witnesses out there that see this have post-traumatic stress disorder because of it? We've seen a lot in the field. They and then all of a sudden they're seeing Bigfoot everywhere. I took a picture and look at all the Bigfoot in my picture. There's no Bigfoot in the picture. Those are shadows and shades. But I know you saw Bigfoot and, I've interviewed you and you feel completely it. And then there's the other one that spends their life fortune on equipment and shy away from their family and do things away from their family because their family doesn't understand. And I get that. Reason being is, and I'll be very upfront with this, that when I was a paramedic, I had gotten post-traumatic stress disorder. Absolutely. And because of it, it burdened relationships with people. I don't know how else to explain that. I lost a marriage because of PTSD. But, yeah, it's rough, and it's been rough to this day. Although I say I'm over it. You're not really over it. You're just, it's not in the forefront anymore. So when witnesses have this PTSD over Bigfoot, I understand, I empathize, and, for all the skeptics out there that will say that, well, Bigfoot doesn't exist. Well, to these people, it does. So whether or not you think they don't exist, these people do think it exists, and now they're suffering because of it. Well, anyway, I think I've spoken enough. Yes, the red circles make the red circles. As far as I can say, I think we can all pull it together and go forward. And that's what we need to do. And you know what, though, for your normal skeptics, I get it. I understand. And yeah, I agree with you. I never forget, it boggles the mind that all the skeptics will be saying, yeah, go, Steve, go. Yeah, you're proving that one's a hoax and that one's not a misidentification. Yeah, go. But the minute you bring up something that defies logic, then they all of a sudden look at you and give you a dirty look. Sorry. That's disingenuous. Because I apply the same logic, reasoning, and investigation techniques to everything. Whether it's pro-Bigfoot or against Bigfoot. But all I know is I've had 2 sightings of myself. I know they exist because of that. But when I go on to investigations, it's a clean slate. Just because I believe the creature exists doesn't mean I want to see it proven in an illegitimate way or a bullshit way. I learned very young, don't cheat at cards. So if you're bringing in confirmation bias knowingly, well, that doesn't agree with it. We won't talk about that. I love that argument too by some of our Bigfoot believers. Well, you don't want to bring out the hoaxers. That just gives them advertisement. No. We point out the hoaxers. That gives us credibility that we are able to see past the bullshit. But I learned at a very, very young age. My father always said a man only has one integrity. Only one. And who knows? You'll say, oh, this could be the one shot. You never know. You never know. Something tomorrow may break. I mean, I didn't expect when I created the Project Forest Stalker protocols that wasn't, coming soon. That was based on evidence we were going to collect from a documentary. Little did I know. Now, we can't do a documentary on this because of our goals. Although it would make a damn good documentary, and it'll probably be in one after the fact. But anyway, back to this whole thing. When I get an investigation, everything is clean and we run it. That's it. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. Listen to me babble on for 45 minutes. Maybe 50 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, we will be... I want to thank everybody here in chat tonight. We love you guys. You are the best audience in the world. Remember, give us a thumbs up on the way out. We would all appreciate it. Leave us a comment. Give us a thumbs up in the comments, too. Let us know. Peach Snapple or regular peach Snapple? Diet Snapple or red? I don't know. Whatever you want to put. And, yeah, I'm going to go get some rest. Thank you. Grazie, Gianni. I will say this. We love you guys. You are the best audience in the world. Welcome to everybody new. Welcome to the family. Make yourself at home. Kick your feet up. Just if your last one out, turn the lights out. Folks, we'll be back Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Squatch-D TV, youtube.com/@Squatch-D TV, or you can just search @Squatch-D TV in the YouTube search bar. Make sure you're subscribed today, and if you really like the channel, consider supporting it by joining the membership. It's cheap. It's not even cheaper than a cup of coffee. Anyway, we love you guys. And we'll see you all here Sunday night. Have a good weekend, folks. Be safe. God bless and keep on squatching.
We thank you for being here with us on Squatch-D TV. If you haven't taken the time yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And oh yes, hit that notification bell too. We don't want you to miss anything. If you really like our content, you should consider becoming a member, and it's really inexpensive and a great way to support not only the show, but honest Bigfoot research. Everyone have a great week. Be safe and God bless. We will see you all here next time on Squatch-D TV. Keep on squatching.